In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on September 3rd, 2022. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. Louisville versus Syracuse. The Syracuse Orange play host to the Louisville Cardinals on Saturday night from the Carrier Dome in not only the 2022 season opener for both, but the Atlantic Coast Conference opener as well. Both teams have had a few up and down seasons of late, with their eyes set on this season as the opportunity to potentially turn things around. Just last season though, Louisville came away with a 41-3 drubbing of the Orange, while also having won 3 in a row overall in the series and 8 of the last 10. It could take quite a bit to turn things around in this one, but with Syracuse at home, it could prove to be important. The over is 4-1 in Louisville's last 5 games overall. Syracuse is 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 home games and 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 conference games, while the under is 6-2 in their last 8 games in September. The favorite is 8-0 against the spread in the last 8 meetings between these two teams, while Louisville is 7-1 against the spread in the last 8 meetings between these two teams. The Cardinals come in with a more experienced team, a far more explosive offense, and possibly a Heisman candidate in Malik Cunningham at quarterback. Last season, the Cardinals thrashed the Orange in Louisville 41-3 with an Orange defense that was arguably better and certainly more experienced than the team's current group. Cunningham's ability to move around in the pocket and make plays with his feet will make up for any experience the Cardinals may have in the secondary. As for the Orange, expect a heavy dose of Tucker while keeping an eye on Schrader, who is nursing a hamstring injury which could impede his ability to run the football. These early season conference games can be tricky, as the early season matchups are tricky on their own. But an added wrinkle of a conference opponent adds a bit of weight to the matchup. That being said, Garrett Schrader is solid and Sean Tucker is one of the best running backs in the country, but the Cardinals have more continuity throughout the lineup and have had their way with Syracuse over the years. Malik Cunningham is a cheat code in his own right, and I just think the Cardinals are more likely to come up with the big plays that are the difference in this game. The Cardinals are simply too explosive an offense for a ground-oriented team like the Orange, and this one will be a runaway win for Louisville. So Louisville to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Louisville's offense alone is enough to ensure that the over hits in this one. The Cardinals scored 41 points when these two met last season, and it doesn't seem likely that things change in this one for the better from Syracuse's perspective. For the Orange, Tucker is likely to have slightly more success on the ground, and while keeping pace with the Cardinals won't happen, they'll fare far better than the 3 points that they scored last season. Additionally, the over was 4-1 in Louisville's last 5 games of 2021, while the over is also 4-1 in the last 5 meetings between the two teams at the Carrier Dome. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Monroe versus Texas. It's a non-conference contest on the gridiron as a member of the Sun Belt opens their season in the Lone Star State against a team in the Big 12. The Monroe Warhawks are on the road as they make the trip to face the Texas Longhorns Saturday night. Monroe finished the 2021 season with a 4-8 record and failed to make a bowl game for coach Terry Bowden. Texas had a disappointing 2021 season in the first year of the Steve Sarkisian era, finishing the year 5-7 to snap a string of 4 straight bowl game appearances, not to mention victories. These two programs have met just once as FBS opponents, with the Longhorns rolling to a 59-20 victory at home in that lone meeting back on September 5, 2009. The Warhawks are 3-8 against the spread in their last 11 road games and 3-9-1 against the spread in their last 13 non-conference games. Monroe is 1-6-1 against the spread in their last 8 in September. Meanwhile, the Longhorns are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 non-conference games and 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 versus the Sun Belt. Texas is 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 overall. Many people are predicting great things for the Longhorns this year, and on paper they've certainly got the talent for a huge season. Texas should get a boost from QB Quinn Ewers in 2022 as they wait for another boost from Arch Manning. Ewers will have some wonderful weapons to utilize, including first-team All-Big 12 selection Xavier Worthy and Jordan Whittington. That's not to mention Bijan Robinson, who averaged 5.8 YPC and had 1,127 yards with 11 touchdowns last year. Quinn Ewers will be desperate to prove that the hype is real. Coach Sarkisian is also under tremendous pressure to improve an offense that has not been good enough in big games. Look for Texas to give Ewers and company plenty of chances to start clicking and putting points on the board. UL Monroe will be breaking in a new full-time QB and may take some time getting the offense to a point where they can compete against powerhouses such as Texas. The Warhawks do not have the defense or the running game to keep this game close for long. Ewers and Robinson will prove to be too much for a Warhawk defense that struggled mightily against lesser competition a year ago. So long as the offensive line and the defense are at least average, Texas should certainly be competing for a conference championship. So the Texas Longhorns to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. UL Monroe split their 6 games in relation to the total last season. The Warhawks were a streaky team in regard to the total, going over in their first game, staying under in the next 2 before recording 5 straight overs. They closed the season with 4 straight unders and split their 6 road games in accordance with the total. Texas finished last season with the under hitting in 7 of their 12 games, including 5 of their last 6 contests. The Longhorns split 6 games at home on the year, including falling short of the total against Louisiana at home in last season's opener. This one, the total is pretty high. It might be a few points too high given UL Monroe's issues on offense last year. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Murray State versus Texas Tech. The Texas Tech Red Raiders and Murray State Racers do battle in Week 1 of college football action at Jones Stadium on Saturday. The Murray State Racers won 6 games last year and enter the 3rd season under Coach Dean Hood. The Texas Tech Red Raiders won 7 games last year and enter the 1st season under Coach Joey McGuire. The Texas Tech Red Raiders opened the 2022 campaign playing host to the Murray State Racers from the FCS's Ohio Valley Conference. Both of these teams are likely to be off the radar of the average bettor unless you happen to be an alum of one of these institutions. What do we know about them? Let's start with the Red Raiders. Joey McGuire takes over the coaching duties in his first head coaching gig. As with many programs with rookie head coaches, there is plenty of rebuilding to do, and it usually does not all fall in place immediately. McGuire brought in offensive coordinator Zach Ketley, who is known for his electric vertical passing game, and the staff seems confident they have the weapons at receiver and tight end to implement that scheme in Lubbock. Their quarterback situation will be uncertain at first, and the offensive line is a near total rebuild, and that could hold them back from the full offensive attack they want to be, at least once they run into the better defenses in the Big 12. The defensive side of the ball is expected to be subpar and with very little depth. An air raid offense with a suspect defense. That sounds like the Red Raiders we have come to know. Murray State expects to compete for an Ohio Valley title this year, and if things break the right way, they hope to compete for a playoff spot too. The Racers bring back a lot of weapons on offense, including junior running back Damonta Witherspoon, who rushed for over 900 yards and 8 touchdowns last season. They have 2 legitimate downfield threats in Lamartez Brooks and Jacob Bell. At quarterback, DJ Williams comes with high expectations after splitting time at the position as a freshman. He is an electric dual threat QB who looks to lead an offense that can hang some points. Defensively, the Racers have a lot to replace, especially up front. The front line might have a hard time holding up against a Big 12 opponent, but most of the rest of the defense comes with some experience and gives them a good outlook for the season. The Texas Tech Red Raiders are obviously the more talented team here, but they're also replacing a lot of players on both sides of the ball, so it could take time to really get the ball rolling. The Murray State Racers have talent on both sides of the ball and legit playmakers on offense who can make plays. This is also a look-ahead spot for Texas Tech, with a ranked Houston team on deck next week. This is a ton of points and kind of disrespectful toward Murray State, so the Murray State Racers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Red Raiders intend to return to a vertical passing game, and they look like they want to try to compete in the Big 12 by just hanging a lot of points week after week, even if they give up almost as many. While there are question marks at offensive line and even QB for Texas Tech, there is certainly no question about the intent on offense, bombs away. For the Racers, there is a lot of experience on the offensive side of the ball, and this team can hurt opponents in a lot of ways. The biggest weakness for Texas Tech is on defense, and that should mean lots of points for Murray State while the Red Raiders are figuring themselves out. While a matchup between a Power 5 school and an FCS school should have a very certain final outcome, there is every reason to believe that both teams will post their fair share of points. As long as these teams end up in the end zone and not just settling for field goals, this number should fall comfortably enough. This just does not seem like the matchup for a defensive, clock-grinding trench battle. This seems like a game that will feature a lot of points. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.